Hi there, Laura here, the founder of Get Organized HQ, and myself and my two video assistants have just spent the entire morning taking inventory of all the bins that I'm using in my house and all the extra ones that I have in my storage room and adding up how much I have spent on these bins over the past few years. And guess what? I've spent $5,213 on bins, and I'm going to tell you what this got me. Now, I wanted to talk about this because it's kind of the elephant in the room. Anytime I do organizing videos, like I might do a video on how I organize the shelf behind me, I always get comments that go something like this. Well, with all the money you spent on those bins, you could put a kid through college. Now, personally, I don't know what college is affordable enough that would only cost $5,213, but the point is still very valid. You could do a lot of things with that amount of money. Is it really worth it to spend that on bins? Have I totally lost my mind for doing this? I'm gonna let you know. Now, before we go any further, the title of this video said, and this is what it got me. I want to be very, very clear about this. Purchasing the organizing bins, either putting them in my car and bringing them home or, ordering them online and having them sent to me, literally did nothing for me. And it's very much like, let's say you want to get healthy and fit and you buy a treadmill. Buying the treadmill, newsflash, does nothing for you. Ask me how I know. But it's using it that does something for you. And the same is absolutely true with organizing bins. Buying them will do nothing. Using them is where the magic happens. So I think it's just really good to keep that in mind. These can be a useful tool, but it's not magic. You got to take another step after you buy the bins if you want them to help you. Let's talk about whether it's actually necessary to spend this kind of money on bins in order to be organized. Obviously, I'm imagining we all want to be organized, and the truth is you absolutely can be organized with $0, or you could spend more money than I did, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Either way, you can still be organized, because being organized only requires two things, and I think we often need to remind ourselves of this, especially when you start looking online on all these influencers who have these beautifully staged areas. You just need to give every item a home. Everyone who uses the space needs to know what that home is, and you have to be happy with it. That's it. So yes, I could use these bins, make these beautiful labels, and that's organized. But if instead I simply placed the items on the shelf, but they had a clear home and I knew where that home was, then that would still be just as organized. Organization does not require that it have a certain aesthetic or a certain look. It just means you have to know where everything goes. Now, that said, if I want this look, like if you're like, hey, I really like that appearance, then you really cannot achieve that look with these items on this shelf without the bins. It's just not possible. Do you have to have these exact bins? No. Now, these bins behind me happen to be fairly affordable on the whole range of how much you can spend on bins. So you don't have to have those exact bins, but you have to have something. Otherwise, the stuff on the shelf is literally just going to be sitting there. It's going to kind of be stacked and piled, and the way that it looks, while it still could be perfectly organized, is going to be very different. Let's come back to the original question. What did all of that money get me? For me, it absolutely got me a lot of peace of mind, and it got my house really organized, again, with me having to put in the effort, but it's organized and I smile. Like every time I walk in here, I smile. When I open my pantry, I feel really good and I smile because the bins help us easily keep it organized. But I did take that time to set it up. In some cases, I took the time to label it, which is critical. I thought through which bins fit the best where and which ones were going to be the easiest for myself and my family to use. But I absolutely think it was worth it, and I would go spend that money again, because I would personally, this has been probably over the course of about 10 years. So if you average that out by year, it's about $500 a year. And for our family of four to even go to, say, one of our favorite restaurants, Chick-fil-A, it's at least $50. So that means that for one fast food meal a month, I was able to buy all these bins. I personally would much rather have these bins and have this organization than having an additional meal out each month. But you may have something totally different, and that's okay. The truth is, it's up to you. And also, very few people actually need to spend this amount of money on bins. I'm a little bit unique. First of all, my house is absolutely huge, so we have tons of spaces to organize. Yours probably isn't that big, so you couldn't even spend that much money if you tried. And secondly, I am an organizing content creator, so I have bought some additional bins that I probably wouldn't have just to show you, and a bunch of those are sitting in my storage room just right now gathering dust, and I'm gonna need to do a big purge of those because, like I said, I bought them, I tried them out so I could review them for you, or someone on my team bought them and then gave them to me, but I don't think that it's something that you would actually need to buy. And it really just depends on your personality. I realize that for myself, I really care about how it looks. If it looks the way that I like, and for me, and again, this is not true for everyone, I value uniformity. That's kind of out. Like these days you're supposed to be eclectic and all that. No, I want it to all look matchy-matchy. I like that. My husband likes that. So I'm just gonna own it and I'm fine with that. That's how we're happy. That's how we feel like it's organized. And I keep it that way so much better because I can honestly tell you, I've had this shelf in now 3 homes over the course of probably 8 years, and it has 100% of the time stayed this way. And that's because I love the way it looks. It has labels, and when something has labels, it just feels wrong to put it in the wrong place. Like there's something psychologically that the label does, even if you can see what's inside, that helps you put things away. So it stayed, and part of that reason is because I was really happy with it. And so that has made it worth it for me. But some people I know, the aesthetic of it, how uniform it looks, just isn't all that important to you. Like you could use shoe boxes and you'd be perfectly happy, and that is wonderful. And you're still 100% organized. So really and truly, I don't want you to think that you have to spend all this money on all these organizing bins to get organized. You don't. You can use recycled shoe boxes. I've done many videos on Dollar Tree organizing stuff. They have a ton of stuff. So you can use some of those. You can even upcycle some of those and like spray paint them and make them look really beautiful. There are so many options available to you. So I don't want the fact that you could spend a ton of money on it hold you back from actually getting organized. Another thing I can say after spending all these money on bins and trying out all these different ones is that if I had it to do over again, I would buy fewer types of bins, which would probably end up with spending slightly less money because I wouldn't have so many different types. And the one bin I would choose, if I could only choose one and I were really on a budget, is a multi-purpose bin from the Container Store, or possibly the new Target dupe of it. I've done a whole video on those. I'll link to that below. Those are the most versatile bins that I have ever tried. They come in 4 different sizes. You can use them in offices, playrooms, garages, cars, pantries, lower cabinets, under sinks. Like, they are so versatile. And here's the deal. When you get bins that are all the same, and the Container Store has them all kind of a clear plastic, so you can get them all the same. They've carried that color for years. And again, I believe Target will probably carry these for a very long time. Clear color is that it all looks very uniform and they're very mix and match. So if you need to rearrange something, which is gonna happen, and I'm like, I rearrange my kids' play area and I actually take 5 bins out, they don't need those anymore, but I need some more in the pantry, I can use those because they're all the same. So the fewer types of bins you can buy, usually it's gonna save you money. You're not gonna waste money because you're gonna already know, hey, I like these bins, they're for me, I know what I can use them for, I know what fits in them, I already have them in my home, so I can test it out and then say, okay, I do need to buy 5 more of those. And it's all gonna look better and just be easier to mix and match. Now, when you see this number, $5,213, one thing that might be going through your mind is, oh my goodness, how much like materials and plastic is she buying? Like, how is this good for the environment? And here's one thing that I love about this. Every single one of the bins that I've ever bought, with the exception of a couple that literally broke, have never gone into the landfills or the trash. So a ton of the times I recycle them and reuse them in my own space. Then in my storage room where we have all the extra bins, again, because I'm an organizing YouTuber and we need to test out a lot of stuff, I have my friends come and literally shop from my basement. And multiple times they've taken away ones to use in their own spaces. I've given them away to people that I know. And then as a last resort, if nobody else wants them, I take them to Goodwill, where people will then go buy them and use them. So they are things that last a while. I also like investing in slightly better quality when possible, that's like stronger, that's probably gonna last and not end up in a landfill, that people are actually gonna continue using. If you're looking for more ideas, I suggest you go watch my video on my #1 favorite and affordable organizing bin of all time. And also, if you'd let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think I'm absolutely crazy for spending this amount of money on bins, or do you think it's a good idea? And how much do you think you've spent on bins? I'd love to know.